Hello folks, welcome back to the program. I saw McCartney with my wife last night. Should you see McCartney? Find out in this video. Before we begin this episode, I want to shout out Manza Illustrations. That's my business with my wife. We work to bring you high quality illustrations, t-shirt designs, logo designs, children's books, gifts for family, friends, whatever it is, commission pieces, we can make it happen for you. Check out Manza Illustrations. If you support small businesses like myself, that's what makes me have the time to produce this content for you. So without further ado, let's begin. Should you go see McCartney? He hits those notes. Over the years, there have been folks I've seen and watched that have said, McCartney needs to throw in the towel. It's done for him now. His voice is gone. He needs to stop. He needs to just retire. Take it easy. Yeah, okay. But not for me. Not true to me. That man has got it. He's a fantastic. There's no question. There's no question in my mind that he delivers a sensational listening and music experience, an entertaining show from top to bottom. He's got that covered. He's got that covered. It's 3 hours and all the tunes. Some old songs, some new songs, and some in-between songs. That's what he said. And then he began. He went on about 7:30, 7:45. I mean, man, from top to bottom, opening with You Can't Buy Me Love, and then next, Junior's Farm. Steph and I saw him in 2014 in New York and Albany, and we were about 20 feet away from the guy. Insane show, incredible show. But I'd say it was a more safe set list. It had more of the old standards that you know from the Beatles, more Beatles tunes, lesser deep tracks. This set list, on the other hand, completely different than in 2014 when we saw him. Had really good deep tracks from Wings and deeper things and different creative ways of doing things. I'll get to that later. Macca pulled out some great things. He pulled out something he's never done on this tour before, on any tour before. She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. And when they pulled out She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, all I'm thinking to myself is they might as well just do that whole second half, the whole B-side of Abbey Road, because after he ends the show with Hey Jude, they bow. He goes off stage, finally has that drink of water after 3 hours, and then comes back no more than 5 minutes later to give us some of the best encore tracks I've ever heard in a show from an almost 80-year-old man, or I think he's 80 now. This is crazy that we can enjoy this man like we do today. Anybody, young and old, can still enjoy him. And that is the best thing that we can cherish and hold and miss about him when someday he's gone. And I got emotional during this show for pretty sappy reasons. And I'll get to that later on in this video. Folks, I cannot speak highly enough about the fact that he and John sing together again on this tour. That gave chills to both Steph and I. I saw that and I shook my head. I'm like, that is so good. You hear John singing, everybody had a hard year, everybody pulled the socks up, everybody put their foot down, and at the same time Paul's doing a feeling I can't hide, oh no. So you get them both together again. You get Lennon and McCartney together again in this tour. That alone is worth the cost of admission. And this was a gift to me. Steph's family gave this to me for my birthday. And wow, I was so lucky, incredible. I didn't even need to see Paul again. I loved seeing him in 2014. Never in a million years did I expect to see him again in my life. That's like a bucket list for me. But again, we were there and we had more fun than the first time we saw him, I'd say. And the seats were further away. That just proves to you that, it doesn't matter how far away you sit. But to bring up the encore again, after I've Got a Feeling, he goes into birthday. He says, anybody whose birthday's today? And, he's scanning the crowd. Well, and then he says, well, this is for anybody who's celebrating a birthday this year. And then he goes into birthday. And I'm like, birthday? And I didn't think I'd be into it, but man, I was dancing in that. I would like you to dance, birthday, take a cha-cha-cha dance. I was going. I was going during it. It was he gets the people going. So after Birthday, he then follows it up with the end medley from Abbey Road, the 3 tracks, ending with, of course, The End. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. And of course, the encore features the flags. He always does the flags. And of course, Paul holding the Ukrainian flag meant a whole ton to us. I really appreciated that. That's awesome to see. But the people next to us took off before the encore started. I'm like, you missed like the best part of this show. And he delivered tenfold. This show was a 10 out of 10. For anybody who's a Beatles fan, especially a McCartney fan, he pulls out some great tracks. And even the pyro alone, the pyrotechnics featured on Live and Let Die. I mean, he just kept going. Every time I thought he was done, he just goes back to either the guitar, the bass, or the piano. He's switching between all 3 instruments the entire time, doing all these tracks. Like so many Beatles songs, so many of his own songs, so many tributes to John and George, and just a very, very tasteful performance in every way, shape, and form imaginable. I'll tell you, that man is hitting those notes better than a 28-year-old person could hit those notes. His range is still there. Granted, I have allergies right now. But man, I was singing along last night, and I couldn't hit those notes that he was hitting. Loudly, boldly, proudly. I know this review's kind of all over the place, but my mind is kind of scattered. Last night was just such a rush of joy for me, and Stephanie as well. I teared up. I ended up tearing up, and I'll talk to you about this. Surprisingly, during the most quintessentially cheesy Beatles song, what people would think is just, it's got to get you into my life. I heard that tune, and I'm like, yeah, it's got to get you into my life. I've heard him do this 1,000,000 times live in a video, and I've heard this song 10,000 times. This is just like Love Me Do to me, You've heard it so many times, but I'm sitting there, and I'm beginning to bawl. I'm beginning to tear up. I'm beginning to tear up because of the fact that I'm 28 years old, and I listened to this man when I was 12 years old on my iPod 1. I'm listening to him sing these tunes with the Beatles, just discovering them at 12 years old, like just finding out this band that I really love, that this music that I really love from a decade and a time period far away from me in the 90s and the 2000s. A form of yesteryear entertainment that boggled my mind as a young man, as a young adolescent, growing up with this music. I heard it, and it touched me. And hearing it now, almost 30 years old, I'm like, geez, the fact that we can enjoy this man and his talent and his treasure that he gives to the fans through music, still to today, is such a virtue. Something that I am blessed to still be able to listen to and enjoy. Of course, I'll be listening to the Beatles and Paul McCartney well into my middle-aged years, but man, that was something special. Got to Get You Into My Life. I remember listening to that. Whether it be with my grandparents when they took me on holiday, or whether it be with my dad. I was visiting him in Florida, and I would just listen to that before bed, just listening to the White Album, Abbey Road, and that Beatles 1 compilation was the gateway for me. That one CD with the red and the yellow 1, that's what got me. That's what got me in the early 2000s. It was a blessing to see Paul McCartney last night. I highly recommend 10 out of 10 you go see McCartney. Pay the money. Doesn't matter what seat you're in. You're going to have a great time. You're going to enjoy yourself. And Paul's show is indeed open tonight for fun. I'm going to end it right here, and thank you guys for watching to the end of the episode. Paul McCartney, what a gem. You can find me lounging to a melody. Take care, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. thank you folks for tuning into this episode. If you do feel so inclined as to follow me on social media, you may gladly do so at Manza Media Art and Manza Media on every other platform. If you like prints, I've got an Etsy shop where you can see some of my original artwork and fan artwork. I'll catch you folks on the next episode of Manza Media.